Hey guys, welcome to episode number 25 of Ask Jungle Scout. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode so far and got a lot of value from the questions that I've answered. Another great resource that we have here at Jungle Scout, if you weren't aware, is called the $1 Million Case Study. It's a public product launch where we're showing every single step along the way of how to launch a product on Amazon. This week we had a webinar with the founder of Forecastly, which is probably the best inventory management software there is for Amazon sellers. It was a really great session and they covered a lot of the best inventory management practices and talked about why inventory management is so vital for your Amazon business to increase your cash flow, to keep your best sellers ranked, and so many other benefits. So after today's questions, I'm going to drop the link in for that particular session and all the sessions of the $1 Million Case Study, which I highly recommend you check out. Alright, on to today's questions. Turk's question is about saturated products. I know that JS does not recommend going into a niche that is saturated even though it has tons of sales. How about a niche branch? For example, fidget spinners are well saturated and I don't recommend selling that product line. However, Batman or Superman spinners might be a branch of this line that could be promising. I know you gave a very bad example such as spinners, but I hope you get my point here. Thanks for the question. So I know exactly what you mean. You're saying if you take a saturated product but find a niche within that product that may be easier to break into. So let's say you've got a smaller niche within fidget spinners. If you can look at that, look at the first page of results, analyze that like we've talked about before, looking at the top 10 results, one, seeing the demand, but then more importantly, seeing the competition. If you can see that there is low competition in this sub-niche, and there's also sufficient demand, then it may be well worth exploring. However, I'd still be a little bit careful here because the main sort of product of fidget spinners is so saturated that you're going to have a lot more eyeballs on that particular product or niche, and so more people are still going to probably enter the market even within the sub-niche that you're looking at. Also, I just want to talk about entering a competitive market. If you just want to go into a market where there are huge sales but also big competition, it's not that it's impossible, but it is going to be very hard. Essentially what you have to do in these competitive markets is bully your way to the top. So this is going to involve really heavy PPC campaigns. This is going to involve heavy giveaways, promotional giveaways. What you have to do in these really competitive markets is essentially bully your way to the top. What this means is heavy PPC campaigns, heavy promotional giveaways, and for a long period of time. In a less competitive market, this launch process could take a few weeks up to a couple of months perhaps, whereas in a competitive market, this is a much longer process. You could be talking 6 months, 12 months or longer, and potentially just losing money all of this time. Because remember, you're going up against listings that have hundreds and thousands of reviews. In order to stay in that top 10 and get that visibility, you need to be able to match the numbers of sales that they're getting. The only way you're going to be able to do that is by going fairly heavy in your promotional giveaways and with your PPC, doing whatever you can to get that sales velocity up. And you're going to have to do this for a very long time because at the same time, you've got lots of other competitors entering the market and doing the same thing. And because everyone else is advertising as well, everybody's advertising costs are going to go up because they're all trying to outbid the other. And so really it's just a matter of who can sustain losses the longest, okay? Who can be sort of the last man standing? A lot of the time it will take 6 months, 12 months of losing money. And although you're losing money, what you are gaining is these keyword rankings, okay? Because eventually if you can sustain that, everyone else will hopefully, or all the new competitors will eventually drop out because it's costing them too much money, and then the reward comes for you at the end when you can finally stay in sort of a sustained position higher up in, say, the top 10, and you're reaping the benefits of that by getting the huge numbers of sales that come in. However, that reward doesn't come for quite a way down the track. It's very different to a less competitive market where you could be perhaps reaping those benefits, though not as great, maybe 2 or 3 months in. With a competitive market, you're going to have to be putting a lot of money into this just to really fight for your keyword rankings and do this for a much longer period. So I hope that gives you a little bit of a picture of what it's like going into a competitive market. So the rewards are definitely greater, which is why some people would consider doing that. So for most people, you want to go for a less competitive product and have more of a balanced risk and reward. The next question is on how many PCs can the Chrome extension be installed on? So you can actually install the extension on multiple computers. However, you can only be logged into one at a time. If you try to log into multiple ones, it's going to boot you out of one of them. The next question is, sales on my product have unexpectedly increased drastically and now I may sell out before I can get my next inventory order to FBA. If this happens, will my Amazon ranking be penalized when I am once again restocked? So generally speaking, yes, your bestseller rank will increase when you run out of inventory. And when you get stock back in, it won't be quite as good. However, what we found a lot of the time is that it doesn't take too long. Within 2 or 3 days, you can usually bounce back and regain most of the ranking that you previously had. One good strategy here is just to do a small promotional giveaway, maybe do 5 or 10 units for a couple of days, and with that little bit of a sales velocity, that's usually enough of a kick to get your bestseller rank back to where it was. The next question is, if I list a product with the same ASIN as another seller, is there a way to have my own listing that would be an improvement over the other seller? I've heard that Amazon will place my product under the existing listing no matter what the listing quality is. So when you're in Seller Central and you click add product or you want to create a new listing, Amazon will always ask you to type in the name of the product or to search for an existing one or search for the product that you're looking to sell. If you do this and select one of the existing products, then Amazon will try to put you on that particular listing. However, if you're doing the private label model, which is what we talk about, and you're creating a brand new product, then you want to completely ignore this and just go over and click on to create a brand new listing. Doing this will ensure that you don't get put onto another person's listing and that you've got complete control of your private label listing. The next question is from Aidan, who asks, does Jungle Scout find private label items only? So while we focus mostly on private label, you can actually use Jungle Scout to find products for wholesaling or retail arbitrage. At the end of the day, you want to find products that have high demand, and that's exactly what Jungle Scout does. However, what will change here is some of the filters that you use. When we're looking for private label products, we're looking for listings that have low numbers of reviews so that we can compete easily against those listings. When it comes to retail arbitrage or wholesaling, this isn't as important. It doesn't matter how many reviews as much are on a listing because you're not trying to compete with that listing, you're just trying to find a good product to sell on. You can actually filter the number of sellers that is on a particular listing. We don't use that too much for private label, but what you could do is you could set a limit on the maximum number of sellers you'd like to see on a listing and also look at a listing that has high demand. So that's probably what I'd suggest if you're looking to do wholesaling or retail arbitrage. So that's all the questions for today, guys. I hope you got some value from some of those answers. Let us know by giving us a big thumbs up on this video. Also, if you want your question to be answered on the show, make sure you drop it in the comment section below this video as well. Now, I did mention I would share with you a link for this week's session of the $1 Million Case Study, which was all about inventory management best practices. It's something that's not talked about lots in the Amazon space, but is a very important subject to look into and can definitely help improve your business, particularly over the long term. So head to this link here in order to check out that session. Enjoy. Have a great week, and I look forward to answering your questions next time. See you guys.